Hello and welcome to day two, session two of Creative Beginnings. My name is Ida Jimenez, and here at Buncee, I have the honor and pleasure of having the opportunity to work with just educators around the globe, where our hope is to be able to share different ideas, best practices, and strategies to help support other educators and our students to make learning much more engaging and fun, really for everyone. And so with that, today I'm really excited to welcome some of our other presenters and educators that I have the pleasure of being able to work with, where they'll share just different strategies from actually a non-classroom perspective to share how to actually lead with positivity in the classroom, especially in the remote learning environment that we find ourselves in. But before we get started with today's session, I actually want to take a quick moment to share some of our upcoming giveaways for tuning in for today. And so I'm going to take a moment to share my screen. But in the meantime, welcome to everyone. Feel free to chime in the chat and share where you're tuning in from. It's amazing to see some folks, coming in from Kuwait, India, Macedonia, and the whole gamut of other countries. And so with that, you should see my screen here. And so while you tune in for this session, or the sessions really ahead for the entire week, our hope is really to help encourage you and give you just different ideas that will help support your students as well as help you improve your own teaching practices. And so with that, for our giveaway for today, let us know that you're here. And we're encouraging you to take a photo of you participating in the session, but at the same time, share one big idea, at least one big idea that you've taken away from our presenters from today, and post that on either Twitter or Facebook, but be sure to tag Buncee, as well as include the hashtag Buncee Live, and tag 3 other friends that you want to be able to encourage to learn these different strategies that our kind educators are sharing today. And with that, you'll be able to win a Buncee t-shirt. And then in addition to that, though, you also have the opportunity to actually win a subscription for Buncee for a full year. And so same exact giveaway, like I mentioned, feel free to let us know that you're here. Take a photo of yourself at the session, share at least one idea that you're learning from these awesome educators, and at the same time, share it on Twitter or on Facebook. Be sure to tag Buncee, hashtag Buncee Live, and include 3 different friends that you want to be able to encourage to take away these ideas. And so with that, I'm really excited to get started with our official session here and welcome our presenters to the stage. So we have Victoria Morse, Tess Milares from the New York City DOE. Victoria is based out in Florida, actually. And we have Matt Joseph, who's here from Massachusetts. Each of these different educators or administrators, actually, have really done such incredible work to help bring positivity to our families as well as our educators, especially in the time of remote learning, where a lot of people have been feeling a lot of uncertainties and just challenges at large. And so I'm really been inspired by all of the different activities that they've been doing. So I'm really excited to pass the stage to them. And with that, I'll get started first with Tess. And so Tess, we're really excited to welcome you here, and I'll leave it to you to share a little bit more about your background as well as the different work that you've been doing with your class or your school.
Thank you, Ida. Hi, everyone. From New York, and right now it's stormy here, so bear with me as I share my screen with you, and hopefully I will be online the whole time. That way, I'll be able to share my whole Buncee leading with positivity. Hello to all, and here you go. And I would like to shout out to my P721K admin, especially to my principal who's with us this afternoon, and the rest of the team are here too. Okay, so there you go. That is P721K, Roy Campanella School. We are here in Brooklyn, and we serve students with disabilities, grades K to 2 and 9 to 12 high school. So our vision mission, we always stand to help our students develop the best that they can be, the abilities that they have, and apply it to transitional work skills, so that as they graduate from high school, they'll be more independent and be able to live up to our expectation of working for themselves and living independently. So that's what we do. And so as we shift to remote learning, we try to lead, empower, and guide our school community at the onset so that we'll be able to still pave for a stronger instructional structure even in remote learning. So I know as we shifted, everyone was faced with uncertainty and fear. So at the same time, as leaders of the school, we need to respond to challenges in remote learning, like learning new platforms, not only us admin, but teachers, parents, and our students, the social isolation from peers, from our colleagues, and of course, the distraction at home when everybody just came home and be together and each one have their work center cut out. So those were challenges that we faced. But as leaders of P721K, we tried to follow the exemplary leadership and of that Kuzes and Postner said, and I have it here. And in Buncee, when it's a link, it's a hyperlink, it will bring you to the site. It's that leaders need to continue to build a clear culture of clear expectation. So we try to inspire everyone with a shared vision of P721K. So how do we do that? Well, we use our Buncee. So this is just one example of our Spirit Week. You as a teacher, you could definitely apply this in your teaching. What are your expectations from Monday to Friday? So it's the same thing, but as admin, we try to make it fun because then content will be delivered by our teachers, but at the same time, provide a twist and guide teachers to make social emotional learning component of the lesson, add fun to the lesson, have celebrations. And so that's what we did for throughout from March to June. Since we are a 12-month school, we also have our summer program. And so we still are in school right now. And so part of it, our summer theme was more on understanding different cultures of different countries. So we are on, this is an example of our week 2, but currently right now we're on week 5, and it's about geography. But what I'm sharing with you is the culture of country. In Buncee, we try to make it more robust to help teachers access different platforms, even if we have created a folder where teachers are going to be able to share resources from that folder. But the Buncee becomes a way where parents can actually access the different cultures or the different resources that we have for that week. So that's one. You as teachers could definitely use that as well. We were so lucky that we were able to have the opportunity to have a meet and greet and a training session with Dr. Temple Grandin. She is an author, well-known author and speaker, advocate for autism, students with autism. And so we want our teachers and our families to know who she is and what she stands for. So for that week, it was all about learning who Temple Grandin is. So as you can see all this here, are hyperlinks, and it leads you to the site where we have our meeting for Google Meet and the different websites where we have access Temple Grandin. So it's a robust resource. At the same time, we want to have our parents trained. We want our parents to be able to have access to training and learning the different platforms. We use Remind as our school messaging service. It's a text. Privacy of your own cell number is, there's privacy. They change your number. It's a random number. So we could text and be in communication with our parents. And we do have Twitter. We need to know, we need to tell the world of what P721K is doing so that for our parents. And parents have access to this. And we had a very good response, especially with the Remind and the Twitter platform. platform. And you see how easy it is to share Buncee to those platforms. And that's what makes Buncee a much more robust platform that we use. So another expectation that we want is that we want to know what our teachers have learned. We want to know what they're thinking, the reflection. So we, during Chancellor's Day, it's a full day of training for our teachers. And we have created a board, a reflection board, where teachers are going to answer our targeted questions to guide them in their reflection of the day. It's like an exit summary slip for our students. And so I want to share the board with you, and you'll be able to see. This was also a way for all our staff to get to learn Buncee, because we started Buncee in our school almost like half of the year. And so from then on, we just ran with it. And so our staff were able to post the reflections, and each one are able to comment, and we are able to read it and comment and share it to the rest. We just give the link out, and everybody could have full access of our boards. The other thing also, what we do for our parents is that we want parents to be able to understand everything that we do when we have meetings, to be able to the trainings that we have. So we try always to have translators, interpreters, whenever we have trainings. But amazing, with Microsoft Translator app, we were able to use that and share that in our share it in Buncee whenever we have any events. And so we have it here, and that's part of clear expectations, our shared vision, that we want everyone to be able to know what our schools stand for. I have set here some example of what PB21, our K-2 curriculum is, and we use this when we had a virtual tour, probably 3 weeks ago. This was this was to prepare them for September. We know that part of the challenges that we face right now is how the unknown. And so our parents are in limbo. They don't understand whether we're going to the building, or we're staying home. When are we opening? Are we opening at all? And so we try to give them a grounding. That way they are able to be with us, and as we face the challenges up ahead. And so we have the virtual open house where we shared our model, our program model, our assessment, our curriculum, so that they would be able to feel that they are welcome at PB21, and that they'll be able to understand, okay, this is what I'm going to prepare my child for in September, whether we go remote, or whether we go face-to-face, or whether we go blended learning. So part also of the exemplary leadership that we are following from Kouzes and Posner is to always encourage the heart. Leaders encourage the heart by recognizing contributions and celebrating values and victories. That's part of the core that we have for our leadership. That way, we try to recognize not only the need of our students, but the whole school community. So when we started to shift to remote learning, our students also had difficulty transitioning. They are not able to process right away that there is no school. Even if it was a Thursday, there was no school. So it was kind of difficult for them. So how did we address that challenge as a leader? And so we tried to provide them with different activities and encourage the teachers to share their own talents. teachers would say, all right, let me do theater games. Let me do a respect for all event. Let me do art activities. That's what I'm good at. And so we were able to come up with daily schedules. And this is one of the example of what we have to make the day fun, to make the day bearable for all students who sometimes have to stand by the door with their shoes and their book bags ready and waiting for the bus. So it was quite difficult. It's heart wrenching on our part. So we want them their day to be fulfilling, and so we started with this at the same time. So the other thing also was the seniors, the class of 2020 felt a little bit left out when we shifted to remote learning. They missed out. Luckily for us, we just had our senior day trip. However, they're going to miss out on the prom. They're going to miss out on graduation. They're going to miss out on all these other events that we have identified for them throughout the year. And so they have expressed that sentiment to us. And we said, no way are we going to let you feel that way. You are class of 2020. And so we created Awesomeness Week. So students are able to do a meet and greet, able to express what they're looking forward to, and have concert and have a game. And so students had fun. And as what you can see here, we tried to get all their feedback on what are they looking forward to. And so they responded, I'm looking forward to going back to work, going back to veterans, the VA hospital, which some of our students have their internship sites there. Seeing my friends, see my teachers again, be with my friend Carlos, see my boyfriend. Those are things that are simple but yet meaningful for each one. And we try to give them that positivity that, yes, it's going to be okay. And all these things you're going to look forward to will soon happen. And so another way of doing that thrust for positivity is not to forget that though we have identified a ring and pendant date for them, we could do it virtual. And so we had a virtual ceremony of ring and pendant where parents become teary-eyed because it came out so meaningful for each one. And we used the Buncee as part of our invitation and part of the platform as we transition from one slide to the next. It was very meaningful for our students. We also gave our our second graders, their moving up ceremony to third grade. Everyone had the videos going. The Buncee platform made it easy to streamline all our videos. And not only that, we also had a virtual graduation. And it was that time when everyone just felt like, no, there's no graduation time, but here is P721. We were able to provide them with a virtual graduation. And again, we use Buncee for that. So another Spirit Week that I would want to share with you is our end of the year, almost, yes, this is the last week of the year, of the school year, where we just packed it with everything. So we had a Thank You Tuesday for our teachers. And as you could see, I'm going to share with you our board for Thank You Teachers. And everything is here. The students sent their thank yous. Congratulations were shared for those who were going for retirement. So you as a teacher, you could surely use a board for birthday boards for your students and the way of them to say thank you. So we were able to do that for our staff. We also have the congratulation moving up to third grade students. We have our senior graduation link. And also we tried to capture their first ever remote learning. And we also have a board. There you go. And some of the pictures that we had our award, our parent award, where our principal went to school, outside the school, and the parent was good enough to be with us. We have one of our assistant principals helping out with the tech So, and as you could see here, all the lessons that's happening online. So we tried to lead with positivity that way. So as we go through the year, we tried again to capture all the thank you messages. And I'd like to just point to you when Francesca from Buncee attended our graduation, and that she found it touching and it made her day. We were just so happy that not only our own staff P721 attended, but also our support from that supports P721K, and that one is Buncee, of course. So as a way for us to lead with positivity, the other way is to thank our teachers, our staff, the whole school community. And so we didn't let it pass. We as administrator always know that we cannot do it by ourselves, but we need to have the team, the whole school behind us, as our first priority is always to instruct our students. So that's how I'm going to end my presentation this afternoon. And I hope you're able to capture some of the things, ideas that you can surely use in your classroom. So I would like to introduce now Victoria Morse. Go ahead, Victoria.
Thanks, Tess. Let me pull up my screen. All right. Give me just a minute. Thank you for your patience. Can you see my presentation? Give me just a second.
I think Buncee Bryan's messing with it. I think he put some of his college selfies in here. Can we get him out of here?
Can you see my screen? Yes? I can't hear anyone. Hold on a minute.
Victoria, we don't see your screen.
Yeah.
All right, Victoria, I think you froze for a moment here. So what we'll do in the meantime is, Matt, if you want to share your screen.
Ready to rock and roll. I'm always ready. I was going to go.
A hurricane in the vicinity here, or a tornado.
Yeah, I was going to go grab a snack, and I felt bad for Victoria. She's probably really stressing out right now, but we're good to go. I do think Buncee Bryan at some point did something just because he wants to feel a part of this because he's not presenting. So I will definitely jump on right now. And I do have to tell you, we don't have a hurricane outside of our house. There's one inside the house. There's a baby running around. There's a dog. There's someone mowing the lawn. So I wanted to simulate like I was a teacher, and these things happen to you all the time. So I am going to share my screen. I also changed the presentation in the last 7 minutes. So you'll see that to show how Buncee can really enhance that while Victoria comes back on.
I'm not sure what happened.
Or are you back?
Oh, there we go, Victoria.
You're out. Edie, you want me to jump on while she figures it out, and then
yeah, why don't you go ahead, and then we'll take it from there. So
I'm on it.
We'll tune after.
All right, cool. I'm on it. Here we go. All right. So I clicked the whole screen, so I hope I don't have anything I shouldn't be sharing on here. So can you see it now?
All right, we're pulling it up, so give it a moment here, and it's loading. And yep, we see it. If you want to hit preview mode.
Yeah. Now I got to move this over.
All right. All the best.
All right. Are we with us? All right. So welcome everybody. I'm going to give a district view of being a positive leader, and the fun part of this, and especially this platform, is I can't see anything. So I'm essentially talking to the camera, and nobody actually can talk to me, and I can't see the questions. So this is essentially a 15-minute stand-up, and hopefully I'm getting across what I need to. So I'm hoping our co-pilots here can help me out if something comes through or questions. My name is Matthew Joseph. I'm here today from Massachusetts. And of course, you see up in the right-hand corner, at least for me, our co-pilot Buncee Man is going to be flying with me today because, as you will see, I need a lot of help when it comes to these presentations. So I invited him along, especially because we are really highlighting this amazing tool. And as Brian Buncee likes to do, he thinks he can join along and is the co-presenter. But for now, Buncee man, I'm going to take over and run with it. So these next 2 slides, literally just cut and pasted them about 7 seconds ago because I heard what everyone was talking about, and I thought it was a good idea to share a little bit of where I come from. I was an elementary school teacher, an elementary school principal, and then had an opportunity to attend Boston College for my doctorate in educational leadership. And then the last 4 years, entering my 5th, I've been a district leader. And that's the lens I'm going to bring to you today about positive leadership. And this literally, just so that all of you know out there, is a PowerPoint slide from a presentation I did a month ago. And I was like, I need to add this. I took a screenshot of this, then I uploaded it into this Buncee. So I literally couldn't move anything. So I just wanted to show you how impactful this tool was. This screen as well, the next one, I just added this too because I heard the giveaways at the front. Like, why don't I do some giveaways too? So again, literally, you can tell the background's the same from that last screen. I actually changed the background of the Buncee to black, and I threw the dog in there because who knows if he's going to come running in here at any time. If we're talking about positive leadership, you have to share a little bit of yourself. So that's my dog, Gizmo. We go walking all the time. So I'm going to do some giveaways too. I'm going to give away one of each of my books if you want to tweet out to @MatthewXJoseph. And for those of you who say, hey, your website looks green. Yes, because I was going so fast. I want to share you what I did. I took a screenshot of the PowerPoint presentation. The website actually wasn't in there. So what I did was I typed it in, and because I was rushing, I forgot to put that. So when I took the screenshot, I couldn't literally change it in Buncee. So what you can do in Buncee is add a text box. So actually that green comment, I did it on purpose because I wanted to be transparent with you, that literally on this page is an animation in the top left, the top right corner, the dog picture on the left, which was right before this, the PDF, which is in the middle, and I added a text box to add the .com to make sure you get the right address. So feel free to tweet these out. I'm going to give away for people who are sharing some impactful things. And I want to share some impactful things about being positive. And I'm just going to break it down to some attributes. And I'm not going to read through everything, but I want to explain some things to you. And I think it starts with the attitude. And I don't mean having an attitude. Like I know some people on here, like my friend Christine Bemis is on here. She might be giving me attitude about this. But I'm saying your professional attitude is contagious. How you carry yourself as a district and school leader and teacher is contagious. When people see you, and they will model your behavior, your attitude. So starting with that positive attitude is the foundation of positive leadership. If you are carrying yourself that way, it's contagious, and people will want to model that because you are leading. And if you know what, if other people are being sour apples, you still have that positive attitude because you have to model what you want replicated. And what's replicated is what they see from you as a leader. And it starts with the attitude. The second thing that I like to really bring into both my leadership, friendship, and just things that I do each and every day is I do believe that enthusiasm is motivational. You could have the crummiest day and you walk into school, and if the leader has got his or her head down and you walk by and you don't speak to each other, that's kind of crummy. And your day starts off like with a sour note. Or as the teacher, and you had a bad day, you went in and got your grande Dunkin' Donuts drink or whatever, and it spilled, and the day didn't start right. However, when you walk into that school in your classroom, your enthusiasm is what's going to get you and your students through the day. And just to point a few things out, because I want to make sure to highlight the product here as well, Buncee, which I'm a huge advocate. If any of you have seen some Twitter chats, I always use Buncee. A lot of the events I do, I use it, and I like the little animations. I really haven't used a lot of them before, so I try to throw a little animation on each one of them just to highlight each of the words. So I'd love your feedback, because part of being a positive leader is to get your feedback. So you saw a little Buncee man in the airplane. This guy's like fired up. He's got some enthusiasm. So I tried to match that as well. I'd love your feedback on how I did matching that up or not. So the other thing that really works when you are that positive leader is you get that grit, that intrinsic motivation for the others in your building, in your classroom, in your district. It builds that resiliency that sometimes is hard to come by, especially now. I mean, you go to work in your pajamas, and then you got to actually put on a tie. I had to put one on for graduation. I was like, what is this? But that positivity of showing up, being professional, allows others to see you. Again, it goes back to how are you going to overcome obstacles? And again, this is from a leadership perspective. So it's easier. I won't say it's easy, but it's easier to lead when things are great. But when things are difficult and there are obstacles, what's your perspective on how you're going to move through it? Are we going to focus on the obstacles, or are we going to look at that positivity, build everybody up, and move forward? Because that's what leadership is. It's leading when nobody else wants to move forward. And when you do that and you're positive within that, people have this kind of hope. And again, for those of you who know me or have read some of my work, I don't talk a lot in hope, because what hope should be is actions, because hope is not a strategy. Hope turns into actions. And when you have that through that positivity, your resiliency and your staff and your students will also move forward. So this was another strategy that I wanted to share as well. So difficulties, problems, issues. Part of that is not, again, focusing on issues, is how are you going to be positive to focus on problem solving? I mean, I was a principal for 11 years. I guarantee you I could write 10 novels on all the problems that people brought to me. But that's wasted time, because we want to look at reasons that we're not moving forward and then building the problem-solving solutions through positive involvement, bringing people along, having that voice in problem solving. And when you do that, and again, building off of all of the foundational pieces that I brought into this before, when you get to a roadblock, when you get to a struggle, March 13th, when school shuts down, how are you going to overcome that? And if you have that positive climate and culture and leadership, staff and community as a whole is going to bring that forward with you. Just like my little Buncee man down the bottom. For any of our Philly folks out there, maybe he's doing a little bit of Rocky Balboa, but it's overcoming that through that positive piece, because you can do it, but it can't just be luck, or I don't know how this is happening. You have to have these strategies to enhance your district and enhance your school. And through that, through all of those different things, positivity brings unified and connected teams. Because as much as some people try to say it's not, and those are usually the people who don't want to collaborate, education is a human service business. It's just done through education and done through collaboration. And it is not a solo game. It is a team sport. We need to rely on each other. And if we are not positive, and we are that toxic person or that toxic leader, even worse, we are not going to move forward. And we're in the business of educating students. We're in the business of ensuring our students are moving forward. And to do that, we need to bring people together, because if we're divided, we're not going to get very far. So through positive leadership, it brings people together. And again, I want to jump back into I try to keep the presentation kind of clean, just so I could explain it and didn't get lost in it. But essentially, you're able to change backgrounds. And if you've noticed throughout the way, I've had about 3 backgrounds. 1, because I just didn't feel like finding more pictures, to be honest with you. And 2, it kept some structure. So I duplicate the slides or the Buncees. And what it did was save the formatting for me. And so I created the 3 that I liked, the 3 backgrounds, the orange one, the guy with the mountains, and this woman in the sunshine. And then I was able to continue to duplicate them and obviously move them so they were one at a time. So it kept the formatting. It kept I like this font that I use a lot. So I was able to keep the font. The words are the same. Like if you look back, the words are pretty much staying the same because I was able to duplicate it. And the bottom is essentially just, first it's a shape, then I push the shape to the back, and then it's a text box in the front. And I put a little border around it just to separate it. So as a leader who, I've had an opportunity to speak from, East Coast to West Coast. And if any of my Australian friends are out there, I'd love to get down there as well. but this is a tool that I go to because the usability of it. So I just wanted to put that in there too, that keeping the format the same, for me, it looks clean and it's easily replicated. So here's the one that is critical to me, that you have to walk in your purpose. And to do that, in a way that doesn't exude positive energy, then people aren't going to follow. And I'm just going to speak to in a leadership sense. If you're just walking alone, you're not a leader. You're just taking a stroll, and you're walking alone because no one wants to be around you. So have that positive leadership lens when you make decisions, when you move forward. But if you don't share your purpose, then people have no idea where you're going. So in this continual metaphor of journeys and different things, if you have that vision and people know your purpose, then that drives your goals, that drives the teamwork, which was the one above that, that drives the connections to the community, which was the slide before that. So having those positive leadership attributes are critical when you're developing your positive leadership lens. And as you can see, my buddy down at the bottom, my co-pilot, that we are in the business of continual growth. Being mediocre is not a choice. That we are continuing to pursue excellence, and through that, it keeps going forward through being positive. Because one of the things that I try to ensure in our students and our staff is that missteps are okay, because that's how we learn. We learn as leaders through prototyping. We try some things like Buncee Man's doing down there. He's trying to build a spaceship. We try and we try. And if we have a positive environment, and if we are leading with a positive lens, it becomes a very psychological, safe environment for your staff or your students or your district, if you're a superintendent, for people to try things. And that's where true learning happens, because when you learn something on your own, you're able to transfer that to something else. And that's what the learning really happens. And that happens through continual growth for yourself. And, just for me, I'm a huge Buncee fan. I love it. I don't go a day without logging on. And now that there's competitions and I get little stickers and graphics, man, I'm on that thing all the time. But I've never presented with it. And it took me 3 years to see the power in that. So that's continual growth as well. It's definitely something I'm going to do moving forward. I think as leaders, as teachers, whatever position we're in, we have to continue to grow ourselves. So I want to just throw a little video in here before we wrap this up.
Hello, everyone. Matt Joseph here. I hope you've enjoyed what we've gone through so far. And as you can see, Buncee Man is up in space, and he's ready to be a positive leader. He also blasted off already, and he is ready to dive into this information. But to wrap this up, one of the things I wanted to share with you as we look at space here, I'm down here on Earth. And some of the times we see in these fictional movies are superheroes. And ones that I really like are the Avengers, because it's a collection of superheroes. It's a collection of skills, and all of them support each other. And I want you to check this last message out, because all of this information that we were able to obtain today and share happens for one reason. Our superpower as leaders is being positive. That positive leadership provides that spark, that energy. We could be up here in space, we could be down here right in my office, wherever it is. We have the ability each and every day to use that superpower to promote, motivate, inspire others to be great. That is your challenge as we continue to lead with positivity.
So as you can see there, it's just a video. Buncee allows you to insert video. Again, in the top left-hand corner, or depending on your view, it's a different one, but in the top, Buncee Man, it's just an animation on both sides. And on the right, where it says, I'm so ready to be a positive leader, those are just 2 text boxes where I created 2 boxes and move them to navigate there. So there's so many uses here. Within this one graphic, you have multiple things happening. If you're a teacher or a leader, this is a great way to have district announcements, school announcements, class announcements, and continue to build throughout all that we do. And as I said, your superpower is your attitude. That was the first thing I said, and it's the last thing I'm going to say as well. You have the power to be positive every day. It doesn't cost anything. There's no budgetary implications about you being positive. It's about being positive through each of the workday, through each of your actions, and modeling what you do moving forward. And it didn't work on here, so what did I try to do? So because I made this in Buncee, in the bottom right-hand corner, you couldn't see made on Buncee, so I actually tried to put a graphic in there, but in this full screen mode, it didn't show up. So this was all obviously made on Buncee. So these are the things that I shared today. These are some of the strategies that I wanted you to see and emulate. One of the things I shared out today on Twitter is that I was really moved by this work and working with Buncee and them as a team, that I wrote all this up. So after this event, probably as soon as it's over, I wrote an article about this as well, and I'm going to put it on my blog at techinnovation.live. Feel free to check it out. Thank you, all of you, for checking in. Stop sharing the screen, stop going live, and try to leave Victoria 19 full minutes. And now that she's back, I'm going to stay left and take over.
Thanks, Matt. Now share screen.
We could hear you even though your mouth was moving.
Yep. Click on it. Yes. Click here. Click share. All right. Can you hear me?
We definitely can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, you got this, Victoria.
Yes.
Go, Victoria.
You owe that person over there a coffee, but yes.
All right. All right, everybody. Woohoo! Let's do this. It is time to breathe in the opportunity. That's right. Do you smell the opportunity? My name is Victoria Morse, assistant principal at Mary Bryant Elementary School. This is my 25th year as an educator, and I love what I do. Although there are things going around us that we can't control, I believe there are things we can control. You can control your attitude. You can control your outlook on life. You can control how you respond to situations. I believe no matter what role you are in, mother, father, sister, brother, teacher, or leader, optimism is needed in every facet of our lives. I think this picture sums it up. By the way, I'm the turtle. Now, think for a minute about an individual, a leader in your life now or you've had before, who leads with positivity. Think about how they made you feel, or now or back in the past. It could be a teacher or leader you had previously. Think about that feeling. Now I want you to think of the opposite, the negative leader. What did they do, or do they do in their actions that made such an impact on you as an educator? How did they make you feel? Now picture both of those types of people, the positive and the negative. Much research has been done on the impact of positive leadership. Here are some benefits. Enhanced job satisfaction, loyalty and trust. It's a mood booster. You just feel the buzz in the air. There's greater engagement. There's improved performance. I once heard that the greatest gift you can give others is to share your story. In 1982, I was a tall, awkward sixth grader, taller than all the other girls and the boys. I didn't think my teacher liked me very much. As I walked around school, I had a very low self-confidence, but there was always one person who was out around on campus smiling. She took the time to get to know every student. I didn't even think she had an office. She wrote me a note congratulating me on a test that I kept all these years. She was always positive and showed through her actions the concept of take care of the people around you. That concept followed me throughout my middle school, college, even as a teacher, as a mom, and as a leader. She made me feel safe, supported, and loved. You see, she was my principal. The concept of take care of the people around me has followed me throughout everything that I do. If you think about the word hope, there is a great acronym for it. Have only positive expectations. Now, I want you to think back to that person you were picturing that leads with positivity. Think about them in that role. In fact, I will think about it as a mom. Hope is the one thing we can carry throughout our life. In times of uncertainty, hope lifts us up. It feels motivated. You feel motivated and inspired. We focus on the good and see problems as opportunities. Now, think back to that person you pictured. How did they fill you with hope? How did they make you feel inspired? How does that impact you as an educator? More importantly, if it's somebody now in your life, how does that impact the learning with your students? Powerful, right? People need to feel encouraged, supported, and loved. We need leaders who are just dancing through the halls, filling us up with energy, full of high fives and cheers. We never know what goes on behind the scenes with our students, staff, and families. We set the tone for the building through our words and our actions. I attended a leadership conference last year, and the speaker put these words up on the slide that you see now in front of you. He asked us to take a few minutes as a leader and write down 4 or 5 we felt were our values, that we felt really defined us as a leader. So if you have a pen and paper, I want you to just go ahead and write 4 or 5 down. If you don't have paper, it's fine. You can think in your head, which ones speak to you? After we wrote them down, he asked us this question. If you are a leader, would your staff see these values reflected in your daily actions? These are the 4 words I wrote down that day. Hope, compassion, service, humility. I still remember the day after that conference, I had the paper laying on my desk, on my front counter in my kitchen. My son happened to walk out. He took one look at the paper and he said, "Mom, those are your words, right? Those are so you." Best, one of my all-time favorite mom moments ever, right? Leaders need to understand the significance instead of just caring for numbers, instead caring for people. It's that one another kind of life. Encourage one another, support one another, cheer for one another, do the work together with one another. People in your lives shape your story. Some become heroes who really shape and define you. I can thank my mom who instilled the value of service, of giving back, that value of it's better to give than receive. She kept me humble and always thought to myself of just keeping me grounded. As a teacher, as a leader, and as a mom, I work to instill those same values in my son, with my students, and now as a leader. I always kept these values visible so that, again, it's about those interactions, about positively impacting the world. Take care of the people around you. I have a sticky note taped to my computer monitor I've had since my very first day of being appointed assistant principal. People first, paper last. Relationships, relationships, relationships. Susan Scott has a great quote in her book that says, "The conversation is the relationship." You can't build trust without building relationships. Now that we've talked about my leadership style, let's talk about the challenges we're facing today with the pandemic. Because the coronavirus, if anything, it has taught us that even in remote learning, building and maintaining relationships is possible. I just love this quote. Grow through what you go through. I still remember it was spring break. We received an email that our spring break might be extended due to indefinitely due to COVID. So my staff began reaching out with questions. They were a little uncertain of what was going to happen, what was going to occur. They weren't sure how long we were going to be on break. And then I thought back to, what could I do to still encourage them, to still cheer them on, to still give them hope? I still wanted to be visible, just like I am every day in the building with my students and staff. I still need to be that cheerleader, the champion of positivity, the sparkle queen, the dancing AP with the woo-woo wagon, greeting my staff each morning with clapping and cheering. Take care of the people around you. So I began creating daily Bronco broadcasts using Buncee over our spring break as a way to communicate with my staff updates and information related to the school closing. I knew that creating the daily Bronco broadcast using Buncee could have the potential to overcome the pandemic caused, right? To keep us connected as a community. The daily morning broadcasts always include a positive message, some humor. We have to laugh every day. Something that's personal that everyone can connect to. Sometimes there was a sparkle couch with staff members dressed as special guests that I introduced that are part of the episode dressed in funny outfits. So I'm going to show you one right now. Thank you for your patience. We're just going to breathe in the opportunity. This is going to work. If not, these will be shared at another time and you can go back and view the videos because our internet, real world here, sometimes there's glitches. It is worth the wait, I believe. So again, it goes back to feeling people, making people feel motivated, making people feel inspired. Because at the end of the day, people need to know that as a leader, we're there for them. We're there to care for them. We're there to make them laugh, even in the darkest times. So this is just one example.
Good morning. Miss Overshaw, I think she knew I was going to have fun with it. Before we go on, you know what time it is? Time to rate yourself on the sparkle meter. Are you twinkling? Are you dazzling? Or are you bursting? Guess what I am? I'm bursting. All right, here we go. Are you ready for our special guest? This is exciting. We're going to count it down. Ooh, got a lot of things I got to put there. From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Miss Snyder and Miss Green. Woo! Look at this. Woo! Miss Green Snyder. Look at team spirit. Now, they did know I was going to be wearing that. Snyder, she's got Halloween hat on. Oh, and she wants you to see she's brought her own comfy blanket for the comfy sparkle couch. She wasn't sure how the temperature was going to be. Look at Miss Green. She came with her own Georgia Bulldogs pillow. Oh, throwback. Take a look at her snapback hat. It is Auburn Tigers. And she wants everyone to know she's got her coffee in this sparkle heart mug. Look at that. Now, wait a minute. Let's breathe in the opportunity. So many possibilities today. Oh, wow. I can do this. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. Now, they did want you to know I saved the best for last. They arrived this morning in their throwback Jeep. Oh yeah, look at this with some throwback jams, open top. That's right. They had a really good time coming. Now we're not done. The fun has not stopped because we are going to do 2 more basic steps in our throwback challenge week. Anyone can do it. Basic. Butter the bread. Even if you're vegan, gluten-free, everybody has some kind of bread. And I know everyone's been baking. Stir the soup. Okay, 2 basic moves. Butter the bread, stir the soup. Are you ready? I expect everyone to be dancing.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Victoria, can you do that live, like right now?
Isn't that fun? I knew you'd have fun. So you can practice this. Anybody can do those easy moves. And if you have your own moves that maybe you want to add, who knows? I mean, there's so many options, so many possibilities. I hope everyone has a great day. Oh, where are you right now? How did those 2 throwback songs make you feel? I mean, I don't know about you, but I did used to like Kevin Bacon when I was a kid. I wanted to be in that movie. All right, so are you twinkling? Are you dazzling? Or bursting like me because look, thanks, Miss Bella. It is a rainbow of possibilities today. I am sending you hugs, high fives, fist bumps. I'll see you soon.
So that's just one example of the Buncees that I was able to send over to the staff. By the end of this last day of school, we had 51 episodes I had taped for the staff. Staff began reaching out over the course of that time saying that it was the reason that helped them stay motivated during the morning or during the day with their students during e-learning. The whole families were gathered around. It was intriguing. Who was going to be on the Sparkle couch? What outfit would they have? What funny humor would be used? So again, it goes back to instilling that value of hope and giving people something to look forward to every day. By the end, we also had fans. South Carolina, we had educators viewing. Georgia, Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas, New York. I mean, wow. It was amazing just what that one little idea had that took it forward. And I do have Buncee to thank because, again, it helps me tap into my creativity and create a communication tool. We also began creating weekly Buncees with our students. I'm going to show you right here that we started sending out on Fridays. My principal and I, Mrs. Obershaw, again, it was that same thing, consistency, being visible to the students and families, giving them something that was positive to look forward to every week. And it was very well received. And overall, it connected us as a community. And again, it goes back to relationships. And so if you think about over the course of the time, like I said, it was 51 episodes that we did. And then with the students, there was additional episodes that we started sharing. At the end of the day, people need to know that leaders can be vulnerable. Even as a teacher, you're a leader in your role. And think back to that one little idea that I had with the Buncees. It became so much more than I ever thought. And I was still able to lead with positivity, even during a pandemic, and do something that's never been done before. Just like renowned author Brene Brown states, to step into the arena and choose courage over comfort, right? And just the outpouring of support that it's received is just, I can't put it into words. So again, over that time, these are just some other examples of Buncees I've created over the course of the school year as a communication tool. I had a group of teachers, we attended a training, and then we brought it back. They each filmed a video snippet of their training, and we were able to communicate this virtually to our staff so they could view on their own and deepen their content knowledge. I've done flyers for donations with our service learning opportunities. These are some other examples of Buncees that I've created. We did book hooks with the students where they shared a book that they'd read, and then we shared it with our whole school community campus-wide. When we had area leaders come and visit, I was able to create Buncees of our walkthrough tools we used, talent walk forms, had a video that kind of gave some other summative information about the work we were doing in school. The most exciting part, season 2 of the Bronco broadcast launched July 14th. I mean, at the end of June, my staff were asking me, what am I going to do over the summer when there's no Bronco broadcast? So season 2 launched with a theme of hope. So this is just an example with what that Buncee looks like. Now, I do have to say, I'm going to go back to that story because coincidentally, life comes full circle. So the principal I talked about at the beginning, coincidentally, my 6th grade principal was Mary Bryant. Mrs. Bryant is the person who our school is named after. This is a picture of the handwritten note she wrote to me all those years ago. And I have it on my wall as a reminder of the impact we have as a leader, right? Of that, take care of the people around you. So may you be filled with hope and positivity this year as we begin the school year. Some of my teachers have coined this phrase that I'll leave with you, and may you be filled with positivity, and may the Morse be with you. Thank you, everyone.
That was amazing. I mean, each and every one of you. Holy cow. So I'm looking through some of the comments here, and more than questions, you all have such positive support. Even your respective school communities are here to support you. So it really shows a lot about that leadership and how leading with positivity can really make a difference. And while we don't have the questions, I actually wanted to highlight some of the quotes that you all have kind of put together here. One is, I love the thought of walking with purpose, right? And so I think it was you, Matt, who actually highlighted that statement. But it really makes a difference in terms of where we are as a situation for our kids, where at the end of the day, we're here to engage our school community and the kids that we're trying to support. And so modeling that and walking with that purpose, I think that's such a beautiful statement. But the other comment that I thought I'd share is, I love how you said it's the conversation is the relationship. And it's exactly everything that all three of you had just shared. Because when we don't have our students now, how do you get that relationship going? And so I loved how, as simple as creating maybe a graphic that showed a positive quote could be part of it. Tess, I loved all of the ways that you've been showcasing your students' work and all of your teachers' work. And then at the same time, Victoria, the fact that you are also building that conversation even in those broadcasts. So I think you all did such an amazing job, really, with your community at large. And so I would love to, kind of open the floor here to share some other thoughts. So we have a lot of educators also in the room. So do you guys have any sort of, not to say last words here, but any other sort of statements that you'd like to share that you feel that our educators and other administrators that are in the audience would, you really feel they should take away from the session? And I'll start it with Victoria, since you're not muted yet. Not to put you on the spot here, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been so amazing just to see your broadcast. Actually, you were in large measure a large part of the inspiration for this session. You shared your broadcast. I fell in love with it. And you know what? Honestly, we all need positivity in our lives. So yeah, if you guys have main takeaways that you'd love the group to bring back to their classroom, I'd love to give you the floor for it.
Okay, well, I'll start. First of all, shout out to my Mary Bryant teachers that are all watching. And it goes, I told them this at pre-planning. It goes back to, I feel safe, loved, and supported. So I wasn't nervous at all today. And that's really what we need in the world. Even if you're a teacher or, in the classroom, I mean, it's that everyone together collectively is, impacting student learning. It's not just one in isolation. It's that everyone's doing the walk together, walking with purpose. I think that's what you mentioned earlier, but that's just so much needed here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt, I see you've unmuted yourself.
Well, that was almost like she threw it to me with the lead with purpose. And I'll speak to leaders who bring their passion into their work each and every day. And one of the things I sent out this morning is that leaders don't get burned out because of what we do. We get burned out because we get pulled away from why we do it. And if you walk in that purpose and you have that positive attitude and it exudes, one of the second things I said was that it's contagious. And I think when we stay within ourselves and continue to model what we're trying to lead, then people will see that, gravitate to it, and continue to lead forward as we navigate this ever-changing, educational landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tess.
Yes. So two of the things that I stressed during the presentation was sharing the vision. It's especially now in certain times, the school is the grounding force that leads the whole school community to where we want them to be. So continue to share that vision and also continue to encourage the heart. Encourage the heart is praising all the little things that our students are doing, our staff are doing, and all in all, everyone, the positive things that come our way. And I would like to thank Ida for not only supporting us this afternoon and sharing a teacher at NIC see some Filipino teachers have logged in to our session this afternoon. Buncee was able, through Ida, was able to provide around 6 months of free Buncee access for Philippine educators. So we're not only doing it here in the US, we're doing it worldwide, as you can see with all the comments that's coming in for doing that.
Yeah, and so thank you on
Ida.
the three of you for sharing your experiences with everyone. It's definitely really well appreciated, and more than anything, like I mentioned, less comments, more thanks and support for everything that you all have done. And like we just shared, I just kind of want to bring it full circle here, where we started this these series of sessions really with the thought about the fact that as we move to remote learning, now more than ever, it's really about the individual students that we're aiming to support. It's the fact that as students, you don't have those abilities to have your teacher, or maybe even you guys as administrators, right by your side, where you can actually ask for help. And so our students are becoming a lot more independent in this sense. So the question for us is, how do we bridge that as administrators, or as educators, or even as parents, to be able to support them, to give them that engagement and that confidence to be able to really get engaged with their learning and take their learning to the next level. And so with that, I'm really honestly thankful for all of you sharing today. I think we lost Tess in terms of the internet, but we got to be flexible here. There's a tornado afoot. But in any case, before we officially close this session, I just want to make sure and reiterate that you will get a certificate for participating in today's session. I hope you all have been inspired just like I have, and have just various takeaways. And so on the bottom of your screen, what you'll notice is that you'll have the link to register for your certificate. It starts with bit.ly/Buncee day 2-2. We just dropped that in the chat, so be sure to copy that link over and then paste it into the URL, and you'll be able to type in your information, and we'll send out your certificate hereafter. But other than that, the last other main thing is that if you did participate in our giveaway, we'll be announcing the winner for that at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, which is August 4th here. But if you're tuning in from another country, which I know some of you are, that might be actually the next day for you all, and around the morning time. But in any case, it's such a pleasure to be able to connect with all of you amazing, inspiring administrators, truthfully. And at the same time, I hope our audience here has been able to grab some other awesome takeaways from you all. And with that, thank you so much, and we'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you again very much.
Thank you. See you later.